Happy Monday. Is it Monday? Yes, it's Monday. Happy rainy Monday. So I believe it was Saturday's class that I was talking about sitting in the fire. Right? And I'm looking for my quote. There it is. So our yoga teaches us to sit with our emotions, our thoughts, our pain, right? And it's human nature to push that away. So maybe I shouldn't be so upset about the timing of the announcement. Maybe it kind of works right in with our theme. So normally when there's something uncomfortable going on in our lives, we tend to distract, right? We either overwork, overeat, keep ourselves so busy that we don't have to feel that. But when you put a lid on any emotion, you're putting a lid on all of your emotions, right? You can't suppress grief and sadness without also suppressing joy and happiness. So our yoga teaches us to sit with it and learn how to breathe through it and know that whatever it is we're experiencing is not going to last forever. And we use our mat to practice that, right? That's why we come into some of those positions earlier. Joyce, you said we're going to do all balancing again, right? A class like that, just so you can be in a situation where we create a little bit of stress, but we create it in a controlled environment. We might create some resistance, some, I don't want to be here, I don't want to do this. And then we learn how to breathe through it. And we get to take those skills off of our mat and into our world. And like anything else, the more we practice, the stronger that becomes. So I welcome you tonight to maybe throw that out there as your intention. The next time something uncomfortable comes up, right? Can we sit with it without placing the blame on someone else, without creating some kind of dialogue around it, and just observe without judgment and with compassion, right? The cornerstone of this practice. So coming to a comfortable seat and allowing the chin to drop to the chest and the shoulders to release and relax away from the ears. And the quote about sitting in the fire comes from one of my teachers, Kobe Kozlowski. She was my vinyasa teacher. Where do you go when life gets hot? When the windows are closed and the doors are locked. Have the willingness to stay and sit in the fire for the sake of what is on the other side. When you walk through the flames with love and compassion, face your fears and challenge your demons. You give yourself the gift of knowing how powerful you truly are. So breathing into the belly. And as you exhale, relaxing the shoulders away from the ears. Squeezing the navel towards the spine. And then releasing that squeeze. And welcoming that breath from the belly to the ribs, all the way up to the collarbones. Moving into our three-part yoga breath. As we exhale completely. So imagining that the torso is a container that we can fill with our prana, our life force. Relaxing the belly, feeling the expansion on the inhalation. And as we exhale, noticing how everything comes back together. It's like a sweet surrendering on the exhalation. And follow that breath just for a few moments, breathing in and out. And as we exhale, see if you can relax the little corners of the eyes and the jaw and scan the body for any areas of clenching or holding. And breathing into any spaces you may identify, seeing if you can let that go. And if not, can you be okay with exactly the way you showed up tonight? Notice the energy level, right? We were talking about it's damp and cold, right? That might make you want to push yourself a little bit more, create a little more fire, or maybe that might want to make you take a step back, right? And make this a gentler flow. Opportunities in every posture to find where you need to be, right? This is your practice. You modify, change, or completely skip the pose if it doesn't work for you tonight. And breathing into the heart space, sending out some gratitude for this amazing Sangha, for this practice, for coming together week after week, month after month. And then opening the eyes and letting the arms come out to the side. Sweep the fingers out and all the way up towards the sky. At the top of the inhalation, turn the palms. And as we exhale, let the hands float down and the chin drops to the chest. Seated sun breaths. Let's take 2 more like that. Inhale, rising up. Let the head drop back if the neck's okay with that. And as we exhale, releasing down, chin to chest. And 1 more like that. Inhale, coming up. Pausing up here and bending the elbows out to the side and spreading the fingers nice and wide, coming into those goddess arms. And then take that right arm up and over and let the left elbow come to the thigh, coming into a little side bend. And keep pressing the right hip into the mat. On the next inhalation, coming back up, finding those goddess arms. And as we exhale, take that up and over to the other side. And just coming side to side a little bit, noticing how the side body is feeling and showing up tonight. Once more in each direction. And then let that left hand find the mat and sweep the right arm up and over, coming into a deeper side bend. As we inhale, the right fingers lift to the sky. As we exhale, we float back down, bending left elbow. And do that a few times. And you might even feel the stretch in the hips as we come down a little bit deeper. And the next time that right arm floats up, let the hand come all the way back down to the mat. On the exhalation, inhale, left arm up, bend into right elbow. Up and over, side bend on the other side. Okay, gently moving here. You can walk the hands out a little bit further for a deeper stretch, or you can take that block, right, and rest the hand on it if you don't want to stretch as deep. Next time, left fingers reach up. Inhale and then exhale, letting the hand come on back down. So release the legs out in front, take the toes up, and then take those toes down, pointing towards the floor. And inhale, lifting the toes up, and exhale, coming down. And flexing into the ankles, and then make some circles with the feet, circle the other way. So we will be on the hands and knees for a little bit. Right? Let's take the feet to the mat, separate the knees, nice and wide, bring the palms behind, and just windshield wipe a little bit from side to side. Warming up those hips. And then let the arm join in the movement, right? As we inhale, the arm comes up and over and follows the knees, coming into a little bit of a deeper twist. Let's come on back to center and extend the right leg out and hug the left knee in and sit up nice and tall here. Not even on my mat. Sit up nice and tall and take the left foot, step it over the right leg. And then the left hand comes down behind and we inhale, bringing the right fingers up to the sky. As we exhale, gently turn towards the left and inhale back to center. I do that 2 more times, preparing for a twist. Keep the spine nice and long. And the next time we turn to the left, either hug that knee with the elbow, or you can take the elbow to the outside or use the palm, just pressing that left leg into the body. Inhale, find some length. As we exhale, squeeze the belly. Left shoulder rolls back, right shoulder forward. Right, and breathe here. Use the exhalation to gently move a little bit deeper into the twist. Notice where the chin is. It stays right in between the shoulders. Right, we're not turning the head yet. Take another breath here. And as you exhale, turn and look over the left shoulder. And inhale and turn and look towards the front. And do that 2 more times, just gliding the head from side to side. And then holding the next time we turn and gaze over that left shoulder. Take a big breath in to unwind through center. Let the palms come to the opposite side. Let the forehead drop down, a little counter stretch. Come on up and switch the legs. Left leg extends, hug the right knee in, sit up nice and tall. It's so important we lengthen the spine before we move into a twist. And then step that right foot over the left leg. And the right hand comes down really close, propping us up like a kickstand. Inhale, left fingers reach for the sky. As we exhale, we gently turn towards the right and inhale back to center. And 2 more times like that. Keep pressing that right foot into the mat. The next time we come across, either hugging the knee with the crook of the elbow, taking the elbow out to the side, right, or using the hand, just pulling that thigh a little bit closer. Inhale, lengthen. As we exhale, move the right shoulder back, left shoulder forward. So we're looking towards the right. Take another breath in. And as we exhale, turn and look over the right shoulder. And inhale, turn the head back and look forward. And 2 more times like that. Just gliding the head from side to side, loosening up that neck. And then unwinding through center, bring the palms to the left side, dropping the head down, little counter stretch, and come on up. Bring the soles of the feet together and let the knees drop out to the side like little butterfly wings. Do a little rock from side to side. So we're on the sits bones with a little bit of a forward fold coming, right? So our pelvis is folding forward. And then take the elbows towards the knees. Take a big breath and pull the chest through the window of the arms and look up. And as we exhale, start to squeeze the knees towards each other, chin to chest, round the spine, belly in. Inhale, drop the knees, lengthen, look forward, and exhale, rounding, coming back. So seated cat and cow with Baddha Konasana legs. And use the elbows here to resist. Right, coming in and out. Next time the knees drop down, pause there. Take a big breath in, nice long spine, and then see how it would feel to walk the fingers out in front, maybe tenting them like little spiders and reaching out a little bit further on the left and right side. You can bring the hands to the toes, and only if it feels good, chin to chest, and on an exhalation, start to drop down. Maybe forehead comes to the toes, maybe not. Just breathing wherever you are. And as we inhale, we rise back up. We bring the knees back up. Separate the feet about hip width. Bring the hands behind you. Take a breath. And on the exhalation, lift the hips up, coming into reverse plank, reverse table. Sorry, guys. Drop the head back if that's okay. And then let those hips come back down. So reverse plank is with the legs extended. If you want to try that one, you can. Otherwise, do another reverse table. Extending the legs, pointing the toes, pressing the palms down. And as you exhale, lifting the hips up and dropping the head. And then exhaling the hips back down. Let's shake those wrists out. And come and turn towards the right side of the mat, that short end of the mat, coming into tabletop. Spreading the fingers nice and wide. Taking the knees under the hips, the wrists under the shoulders, and then making those adjustments, right? So for me, I am much more comfortable with my hands a little bit further out so that the wrists are in front of the shoulders. Take an inhalation, drop the belly and lift the gaze. And as you exhale, press the mat away, chin to chest, round the spine, cat pose. Inhale, shoulders down and back, belly drops. Look up into cow, And exhale into cat. And follow your breath cycle here for 3 more rounds. Right, inhaling and exhaling completely. See if you can get in touch with that sensation of how the spine is moving through flexion and extension. And the next time that we arch into cat pose, continue pressing back, hips towards the heels. They don't have to touch, and find a child's pose. You can separate the knees nice and wide, let the belly drop down. Forehead can come to the mat, or you can stack the fists and rest the forehead on those stacked fists, and take 2 deep breaths here. Notice what's happening in the body, right? A little bit of heat is starting as that prana and that energy starts to circulate. Let's extend the arms out and walk them all the way to the right side. Big breath in as we exhale, let the head drop down. Inhale through center and walk them all the way over to the left. Beautiful, guys. Exhale, let the head drop down. And come on back through center and back to tabletop. Let's take that right leg and extend it out. Take the toes down to the floor. It's squaring the hips the best that you can. We just don't want that right hip like rolling up and the left hip dropping. Press the left foot into the mat and then walk those left fingers to the top of the mat. On the next inhale, see how it would feel to extend that left arm up and out and maybe point the toes. So the fingers and toes are in opposite directions. As we exhale, elbow towards the knee, round the spine. Inhale, lengthen. Looking out, and 2 more times like that. Using full breaths in and out. And then letting that left hand find the mat, cross the right leg behind the left and look over the left shoulder. And then bring the knee back to the mat and take the left toes down and inhale that left leg up. Same thing here, press through the heel to start. Right, walk the right fingers to the top of the mat, engage the core, belly is pressing in. And on the next inhale, sweep right fingers up and point those left toes, balancing cat or sunbird. As we exhale, the elbow comes towards the knee, we round the spine. As we inhale, we find the length. And 2 more times like that. And then letting the right hand find the mat, and that left leg crosses behind the right, and we look over the right shoulder. Bringing the knee back, separating the knees, and letting the big toes touch. And 1 more time, exhale, hips towards the heels, child's pose, extending the arms out. And breathing here. So where can you release and where can you let go? As we inhale, lift the head, bend the elbows down to the mat, and just kind of bring the body forward so that we can release the belly down and bring the elbows under the shoulders, preparing for our Sphinx pose. So take a moment and press the forearms and hands into the mat. Even lift the belly off the mat and then pull the chest through the window of the arms and let the belly come back down. So we're creating length in the spine. The gaze is about 3 feet at the floor in front of the mat, shoulders down and back. If you feel any crunching in the lower back, either bring the arms out further away from you or lower down. Right, breathe here. Shoulders down and back, and the neck follows the natural curve of the spine. On the next exhalation, let the entire body come down to the mat and sweep the arms around so the palms are down and the arms are alongside the body. Chin is resting on the mat. Take a breath, and as we exhale, start to walk the fingers towards the heels, lifting the shoulders off the mat. So imagine those old pirate ships where they had the woman on the front of the boat, right? That's what we are, right? And then we're gonna ride the waves with the palms pressing into the mat. See how it would feel to lift the toes. Coming into Navasana, the boat pose. Your choice here. You can release the arms and the hands and reach the fingers back. And as we exhale, lowering down a bit. And as we inhale, rising back up, right? Riding those waves. But you can keep the palms down the entire time. Next time we come up, interlace the fingers and take the knuckles all the way towards the heels for a version of Salabhasana or locust pose. Oh my goodness. Exhale, one palm on top of the other. Forehead to the back of the hands. Let everything release down to the mat. Crocodile pose. Bend the knees and bring the feet up and gently windshield wipe those feet from side to side. A little release for the lower back after that spine strengthening series. Let the toes come down and turn and gaze to the left. And just bend that left knee and bring the left elbow towards the knee. Rest the head on the upper right arm, the half front. Big breath in, exhale, rolling into that side, making any adjustments, lifting the knee up or out. On the next exhale, sending that left leg back and bringing the arms up and over and taking that over to the other side. Bend the right knee, right elbow drops towards the knee. And we breathe in our half front. Notice where you're feeling the stretch. Notice the sensations in the body. Where is your attention? Exhale that right leg back. Bring the palms under the shoulders and press yourself back up into tabletop. We're gonna play a little bit with a plank pose tonight, which is why I asked if everyone was okay being on the hands and knees. So taking a modified plank, because this is a gentle, right, class. It's not a vigorous class. Just walking the hands out a little bit, staying on the knees, right, and start to bend the elbows, like lowering down towards the mat and then bringing yourself back up like a little baby push-up, but we hug the elbows in, coming down and coming back up, keeping the spine nice and long when we do this, right? So we're staying on our knees to protect our shoulders, coming down one more time, and then pressing back up. So knee down plank, pressing the tops of the feet into the mat, press the mat away, and then take the shoulders down and back. Only if you want to really create a little more fire, you would tuck the toes and lift those hips. So when we're in plank, we're like one straight line. A lot of times people will either lift the hips or lower them down, too much pressure on the lower back when we do that. So either keeping knees down or tucking the toes for a little more fire, looking forward, belly engaged, holding for 2 more breaths, whatever version you're in, right? Sitting in the fire. And then dropping the knees and sending the hips towards the heels. Oh my goodness, child's pose. Open the mouth and sigh out that breath. And then come on back up. Tuck your toes and lift the hips and find downward facing dog. Bending one knee and straightening the opposite leg and take that to the other side. Just kind of walk that out. Let the head drop. Shake your head, yes and no. And then bending the knees and taking the tailbone, pressing it really far away. Getting a nice stretch to the entire back and taking the weight out of the wrist by pressing into the thumbs and the forefingers. And then let the heels drop towards the mat on an exhalation. Maybe they touch, maybe they don't. And it's more about that nice long spine than about where your heels are. And look between the hands, walk the feet towards the hands towards the feet. Bend the knees, drop the belly, opposite hands to elbows, find a little ragdoll swaying from side to side. Bring the palms to the thighs, nice long spine. Start to drop the seat, press the hands down as we lift the body up. And then come and turn towards this long end of the mat, in the middle of the mat, and interlace your fingers and let's circle those wrists a bit. So one of the things about being in plank and being in tabletop, you can put a little pressure on the wrists. Let's take them the other way. And then press the palms away from you. Bend the knees, and as we inhale, sweep the arms overhead. As we exhale, straighten the legs. Take another breath, lengthening up. And as we exhale, hips to the right and reach up and over to the left. So a variation of our half moon pose, but we have the fingers interlaced and we're pressing the palms away to help release those wrists a little bit. And you can squeeze the legs and bring the feet together, or you can have a little space between it. As we inhale, rise back up, and as we exhale, hips to the left and reach up and over to the right. Big breath in, lengthening the spine as we exhale. Can we soften, right? While holding the pose, while being strong, can you find a space to soften into? Inhale back through center. Exhale, let those arms come down. Bend the knees a little bit, right? We're squeezing the legs together. Bring the hands to the lower back like we're sticking our hands in back pockets. Chin to chest. As we exhale, send the hips forward, begin to straighten the legs, lift the heart. Take another big breath in and then exhale, let the head drop back, finding a little baby back bend, supporting the body here, shoulders down, pressing the hips forward. And then coming up through center and bending the knees. Let the hands travel down the back of the legs and hold on to the calves or the ankles. I'm going to turn myself sideways so you guys can see. You stay exactly where you are. And keeping the upper body pressing into the thighs. Let the head drop. And then see if you can start to lift the hips, straightening the legs, but still keeping the upper body connected to those thighs. It's a beautiful stretch for the back. Shoulders are away from the ears and the head drops down. Just letting gravity pull the head down. Padahastasana, head to feet pose. As we inhale, we bend the knees. With a nice long spine, we look up and sweep those fingers up and come to Utkatasana, chair pose, shifting the weight into the heels. Sitting a little deeper, taking a little bit of the curve out of that lower back, reaching up and sitting down. And then press the feet into the floor as we rise up. And as we exhale, let those arms float down. Shake out the legs, shake out the arms. And let's come into our standing practice. Separating the feet nice and wide, really nice and wide. And finding a block and placing it right in the middle of the back. Sweep the arms overhead, take a big breath in. As we exhale, take a forward fold and reach for that block. And the block has a couple of different heights, right? Maybe it's up on its highest height and you're up on the fingertips. Maybe you're lower, letting the head drop down. Next inhale, find a half lift, lengthening and looking up. And as we exhale, surrender back down. Keeping the left hand on the block, sweep the right arm up and out to the side and take a little twist towards the right. Press into that left foot and bend the right knee. And then inhale to rise back up. Exhale, the right hand comes down. Inhale, left arm sweeps up to the left. Press into that right foot, bend the left knee. A little deeper stretch there, right? Inhale to rise up, and then letting the hand float back down. Bring both arms up as we rise, all the way up overhead. As we exhale, the arms float down, shoulder height, reach to the left and the right. Turn the right toes to the right and kick that left heel in 45 degrees and bend into the right knee. So adjust your stance here. Let the elbows bend a little bit to soften the shoulders, maybe even dangle the fingertips to loosen the wrists. And then press into the feet, the pinky side of that left foot. Imagine squeezing the heels towards each other. Turn the gaze over the right fingertips and then extend out through left and right fingers, gazing over to the right, finding our warrior two pose. As we inhale, we lengthen out of the waist. As we exhale, can you find a little more space here? Right? Breathing. Flip the right palm. Inhale, right fingers up to the sky. Let the left hand come down. Peaceful warrior pose. Take another breath here. Lengthen on the inhalation. And as we exhale, float back down through warrior two. Inhale, arms above the head, turn the toes towards that long end of the mat, and exhale, float down. Uttanasana, forward fold. Find that half lift, length, and look up. Come on back down. And sweep the arms. Hands meet in prayer. Exhale. Arms shoulder height, left toes to the left. Kick that right heel and put a little bend into the left knee. Again, softening. Right, bending elbows, letting the fingers just dangle here, releasing the wrists, and then start to press into the feet, engage the thighs, come out of the waist, and reach the right fingers to the right, left fingers to the left, bend a little bit deeper into that left knee, gaze over the left fingertips. Knee never crosses the ankle. Right, breathing here. Flip that left palm as we inhale, left fingers reach up. Right fingers drop, peaceful warrior pose. Can we extend on the inhale while keeping that grounding? Right, feet into the mat, finding more length at the same time. Right, feeling grounded. Let's release the arms back to warrior two, and then float the arms overhead, straighten the legs, turn the toes towards that long end of the mat. Exhale, take a forward fold. Let's extend the arms out in front. Come to fingertips like little spiders and let the head drop down for an extended downward facing dog. And then walk the hands back towards the body. As we inhale, we sweep the arms up. As we exhale, we bring them out to the side, turn the right toes to the right and kick that left heel back. Bring the left hand to the hip and reach through the right fingertips and come on back up, coming into a little bit of a side bend. So have a block close by as we move into our Trikonasana or triangle pose, right? Extending through the right fingers until we can't extend anymore. And then let that hand find the block. And let the block be somewhere under that right shoulder. Turn the left shoulder up and back, chest facing front, and then inhale. Reach the left fingers up to the sky. As we exhale, you may notice that the block can find a lower height, right? As we find a little more extension in the spine. And then the gaze can be at those right toes, at the lifted left hand, or somewhere in between. As we exhale, let the left hand sweep down towards the mat, looking down, and inhale, rising back up. And do that 2 more times. Keep pressing the feet into the mat. Use that breath to come on back up and reach up through the left fingers. Arms extend out and turn the toes in the other direction. Bring the right hand to the hip if you want to take that block with you over to the other side and extend through left fingers. Come on back up. A few times like that. Right, we're not symmetrical, so one side is going to feel a little different. Next time we extend out, wherever we land, just let those left fingertips find the block, roll the right shoulder up, and then inhale the right arm up towards the sky. So the arms are like a clock at 6 o'clock, dissecting the heart. And with every exhale, we find a slightly longer spine, and we open the heart. We put a smile on our face. Next exhalation, right hand sweeps down to the mat. Inhale, rising back up. 2 more times like that. And then inhale, let the right hand bring you all the way back up. Bring the hands to the hips and turn the toes so they're facing the long end of the mat. Interlace the fingers behind you. Take the shoulders down and lift the heart. Drop the head, look up. As we exhale, keeping that nice long spine, start to fold forward, but stop at a flat back, tabletop, and take the knuckles and reach them up and back. See how that feels. On the next exhale, if you want to go a little bit further, let the head drop and look between the legs as the arms come up and over, getting that beautiful shoulder stretch. And use the inhale and those lifted hands to help you back up. Bring the hands to the hips and take that left leg about a foot closer and turn towards the right end of the mat. We're going to bring our block with us. I'm going to play with a little bit of revolved triangle. So facing the right side of the mat, right foot forward, left foot back. We're going to turn that left hip towards that short end of the mat and press the feet into the mat like we're splitting the mat apart. Notice the lower back, right? Take the tailbone, tuck it down. Nice long spine. Hands on the hips. Find the length first. And then inhale, left fingers reach up to the sky. As we exhale, extend and find that nice flat back. From the flat back, let the fingers find the block. And then just start to squeeze the thighs towards each other and turn and look over the right shoulder. Stay here, right? Perfect place to stay. Or continue rotating right shoulder up, left shoulder down. If you feel the shoulders stacking, then maybe play with lifting that right arm up. So we do this down on the floor with the strap. We'll do it at the end of class. It feels a lot different when we have the support of the floor beneath us. Lengthen through the crown of the head, reach through those right fingers, press down with the left hand. And then inhale, coming back down, back through center. Pivot the body to face the other way. Take the block with you. So now left foot forward, hands on the hips, pressing the feet into the mat like we're splitting the mat apart. Notice the curve of the lower back. Take that tailbone down. Find some length, right? All the way through the spine. Press into the feet and inhale, right fingers up to the sky. As we exhale, keeping those hips nice and square, just fold forward, reaching out, and then let the hand find the block. Start to squeeze the thighs towards each other and turn and look over that left shoulder. Stay here. We'll see if you can stack the left shoulder over the right, and then maybe take the left fingers up to the sky. So revolved triangle pose, pressing the feet into the mat, extending through the crown of the head. Oh my goodness. And as we exhale, that hand goes down and we bring ourselves back up and turn towards that long end of the mat. Let's do a little eagle for balancing tonight. Your choice of using a block, right? When we cross one leg over the other, you can just bring the foot to the block. You can leave the toes on the mat, or you can play with the balance by lifting the toes up. So starting in the middle of the mat, bringing the arms over the head, and take the right arm and cross it under the left and find a hug. And then take a little seat and cross that right leg over the left and bend the knees. A perfect, perfect place to stay. Toes resting on the ground, right? Just bending the knees, taking a seat. You can bring the back of the hands together or go for that double wrap, holding the left thumb with the right hand, or maybe even moving the hands into prayer, sitting down a little deeper. So everything lines up down the midline of the body, knees and elbows, right? Stacking and maybe lifting that right foot, eventually hooking it behind the left calf. So maybe not now, maybe not for 6 months or 6 years, right? Wherever you are, we're breathing, right? Breathing here, being okay with any shaking or falling out. As we exhale, hug the elbows in and take a little bow, bowing eagle. As we inhale, rise back up. So you might want to drop the toes to the mat for this one, 2 more times like that. Bowing forward, coming up, and one last time. As we inhale, rising up, release the arms out to the side, bend the elbows, dangle the fingers, and then let that right leg unwrap, come to the toes, and lift the knee up and find Balikakasana or crane pose. It's circling those toes a little bit. And as we exhale, let the right foot come down, let the arms float down. Bring one hand to the belly, one hand to the heart, chin to chest, gaze at the floor, or close the eyes and breathe. Right, what are you feeling? Where is the breath? Did we lose it, right? Did it become shallow in the chest? Can we bring it back to the belly? What are the emotions, right, that were attached to that pose? Can we let it go with the next exhalation, right? Opening the eyes, shifting the weight into the right foot, bringing the arms out. This time the left arm crosses under the right. We find the hug, and that left leg crosses over. We bend the knees and take a seat. Beautiful place to stay right here. Right? Otherwise, working the hands towards the double wrap, wrapping the arms like ropes, sitting a little deeper, and maybe taking those left toes and pointing them in the direction you want them to go someday, right? Squeezing the thighs, maybe wrapping the toes around that right calf. Big breath in as we exhale, elbows in, bow forward, and inhale, rise back up. 2 more times, really pull the belly in. It's a little bit of a crunch, right? Working the abdominal muscles. And inhale to rise back up. Letting the arms extend out, unwrapping that left leg, and lifting the knee, finding crane pose on the other side. Breathe here, right? Strong, being okay with any kind of movement, compassionate, right? Loving compassion in our practice. Let that leg come down, shake out the legs, shake out the arms. If you have some water somewhere, maybe grab some water for a little bit of a sip. And let's twist that out. Right, just letting the arms wrap around. Little empty coat sleeves. Come back to center, turning the toes out, palms on the thighs, and bend the knees. Shift the weight into the heels. And so take the thumb to the inside of the thighs, 4 fingers on the outside. Find a nice long spine. And as you exhale, take the right shoulder across towards the left knee. Inhale back to center. And then take it to the other side. And back to center. Take another breath. And bring the arms out, elbows bent, spread those fingers wide, finding our goddess pose. Breathing here, so find your goddess. Maybe the legs are straight, maybe you're in a deep squat. As we exhale, 5-pointed star, arms extend out, lift through the crown of the head, straighten the legs, exhale back to goddess. 2 more times like that. And holding our goddess pose. For 3 breaths. Breathing here. So beginning of class, I talked about sitting in the fire. Can you be here? Can you breathe? Right? And can you just watch those feelings, those emotions, those sensations without becoming attached? And from here, coming all the way down, resting the elbows on the thighs, a little wiggle from side to side. We're coming back down to the mat. And then dropping the hands, one knee, the other, turning towards that right side of the mat. Finding tabletop. Take a big breath and exhale, bringing the hips towards the heels. Child's pose. Big breath in, and let it go. Feeling the effect of the standing practice on the body. On the breath. Deepening the breath into the belly. And then coming back to tabletop. bring the hands over to the left side of the mat and take that right foot up to the top. Nice place for your block. Coming into a lizard pose, right? A really nice hip opener. So that block has a couple of different heights. We can be really high, right? On the fingertips, just working this lunge forward. So when the left knee is down, it's okay for the right knee to pass that ankle. It's the only time it's okay for that knee to pass the ankle. Getting a nice stretch to the hips, to the psoas muscle. Right? Stay nice and lifted to begin. And then with the exhalation, see if the body would like to release down a little bit, right? Maybe palms to the block. Maybe that left forearm. Maybe that right forearm. Make sure that right knee is hugging close to the body, pointing up towards the sky, and then let the head drop down and breathe. You can tuck those left toes and lift the knee off the mat and see how that feels. To me, that's really difficult. I like my knee down. You may find it easier. Just take 2 more breaths here. And then gently bringing the body back up and taking that right knee back to the mat, moving the hands to the right side and bringing that left foot up. Same thing this side. We can start really high with the block on its highest height on fingertips, right? Nice and lifted. You can even bring the palms to the thighs. Just working that lunge, that opening of the hips. We'll be moving into pigeon after this, right? So there's a nice opener. And then maybe, and it's a big maybe, allowing the body to come a little deeper. So watch the breath and watch where you clench. Sometimes if we move too deep into a pose, we'll clench the eyes or clench the jaw, we'll stop breathing. That's your body's signal to back out of it, right? We never want to stretch to our maximum. Letting the head drop, hugging that left knee in and just breathing into the stretch, right? Where do you feel this? So lizard is a really nice pose to open and stretch. And that's why I asked if you guys were okay with being on the knees, because sometimes people don't want to be on the knees. It bothers them, and then we can't come into this. I'm taking 2 more breaths here. And as we exhale, coming back up and bringing that left knee back to the mat. Your choice for pigeon, coming from tabletop, coming from downward facing dog, or if you'd rather take a seated pigeon, right? Just crossing left ankle over right. So I'm going to come from down dog to start, just lifting the left leg up. If you're in tabletop, you just extend that left leg back. As we exhale, hug the left knee in towards the chest, and then inhale, send that leg back out. And do that 2 more times. Right, rocking forward, extending back. Next time that knee comes in, pause here and just drop the knee behind that left wrist and extend the right leg back. So finding your pigeon, that we can be seated with that left ankle crossing the right leg. We can take a block or a blanket and place it under the hip, a little rocking side to side. Which is working your way in and eventually lowering down if that feels good. Just keep walking those right toes back and extending. And maybe coming down, resting the forehead on the back of the hands or making fists or taking that block. We're going to stay here for at least 4 deep breaths. It takes a while for the body to get the hint that it's okay. It's okay to release and open up. Right? When we initially come into this pose, the body's reaction is to tense. As we exhale, soften the face, soften the shoulders. And see if we can drop that left hip just a little bit more. And then bringing the palms back to the mat, pressing yourself up and walking the hands to the outside of that left knee and looking over the left shoulder. And then coming back through center and coming back to tabletop. Or if you're in downward facing dog, tucking the toes and lifting the hips into down dog and lifting right leg up. As we exhale, the knee comes in and we float forward. Inhale, send that leg up. Exhale, hugging the knee in. And one more time like that. And this time, bringing that knee over towards the right side of the mat and extending the left leg back. And starting up nice and tall and just working your way into your pigeon. And maybe your pigeon tonight is with a block under the hip, high up on fingertips, right shoulders down and back, proud pigeon. Always approaching the pose as if it's the very first time we've been here, because our body is different every time we practice. So finding where you need to be in your pigeon tonight and then staying here for 4 deep breaths. Using the inhalations to find some lengthening, the exhalation to find some softening. And dropping that right hip a little bit deeper with every exhale. And then relaxing the jaw and the face. Right? Any other holding that you're doing that's unnecessary. And on that next exhalation, walk the hands closer, bringing the body back up. And then taking the hands all the way to the outside of that right knee and looking over the right shoulder. And letting the right hip come to the mat, extending the legs out. Finding your strap and lowering yourself onto the back. Hugging the knees into the chest, a little rock from side to side. Let's keep that right knee in and extend the left leg out. All 10 toes point up towards the sky. Pavanamuttasana, wind liberating pose. Hug that knee in as we kick through the left heel. Big breath in. Exhale, let it go. One more breath in and then take that left palm to the outside of the right knee. Let the right arm extend out, palm down, and take that leg and cross it over, coming into a twist. Shoulders are pressing into the mat. Gaze can be over that right shoulder, up to the sky or looking to the left. Whatever makes your neck happy. As we inhale, we come back through center. Hug that right knee in one more time and then switch. Left knee comes in, right leg extends. All 10 toes pointing up towards the sky. Kick through the right heel as we pull the left leg down. And you can hold behind the knee. Sometimes that gives you a little more space. Just make sure the entire spine is pressing into the mat. As we breathe here, this pose is beautiful for digestion and elimination. Slide that right palm to the outside of the left knee, left arm extends, palm down. On the next exhale, cross that left leg across the body, twisting to the right. Both shoulders press into the mat as we gaze over the left shoulder, or up to the sky, or over to the right. Take another breath here. As we exhale, bring those knees back into the chest. Let's find our strap and come into that revolved triangle down on the floor. So taking the strap to the ball of the left foot first. Right, let the right leg just rest on the mat. And start to pulse that leg forward and back. Then take the strap in the left hand and start to make these circles. Take the strap in the right hand, take a big breath in and cross the left leg over to the right. Well, 10 toes pointing in the same direction. And then reach the left fingers up to the sky. And as we exhale, drop that left arm out. So this is our revolved triangle down on the mat. Right? Breathing here, reaching through the left fingers, through the right. As we exhale, squeeze the navel, coming a little deeper into that twist. And then inhale the left leg up. Let's take that right leg into the strap too and let the left leg just release down. Gently pulsing, a little forward and back. Take the strap in the right hand, make some circles. And we did a lot of hip opening, so this should feel pretty good. And take the strap in that left hand, big breath in, cross that leg all the way over and extend through the right arm, both shoulders down on the mat. Breathing here, all 10 toes, reaching to the left. And notice the twist on the exhalation, hugging the belly in. How the body will naturally move deeper into the twist on the exhale. Inhale that leg up. Exhale, releasing it from the strap. Another knee hug or any other movement you need before Shavasana. So maybe a happy baby. So we started a little bit late. So we'll go a little bit late. Unless you need to cut out. Right? But nobody wants to cut out before Shavasana. Any movement the body is looking for in order to be comfortable for our relaxation. Beautiful. And when you're ready, maybe dimming the lights. If you have a scarf or an eye pillow, maybe putting a blanket or a sweater on the body will cool in relaxation. And notice the temperature of the body now. At the beginning of class, we were talking about how it was damp and cold. Right? We have the power with our breath and our movements to change that, right? We created some warmth, some heat. Now just allow the body to rest, feeling the effect and the imprint of our practice. Let the eyes close if you're comfortable with that, and feel the support of the ground beneath you. Shift your attention to the breath, the inhalation and the exhalation. And if you can, imagining a beautiful light that rides on that breath, our prana, our life force. Breathing that light into the heart space and exhaling it out to every cell. Beautiful, loving, healing energy circulating like rivers of light, bringing healing to any parts of the body in need. As we inhale, that light becomes brighter. And as we exhale, it spreads until the body's completely enveloped in this cocoon of loving, healing energy. Just allowing the body to relax a little bit more. Right? Feeling the back of the head resting, relaxing the scalp, the temples, the forehead, the space between the eyebrows, relaxing the eyelids and the little corners of the eyes, relaxing the cheeks and the nostrils and the lips and the tongue. Let the back teeth separate and let your jaw go. The face is completely at peace and expressionless. And let that peacefulness travel to the back and the sides of the neck and down the throat, into the shoulders and shoulder blades, down the arms and out through the fingers, relaxing upper arms and elbows and forearms and wrists, the hands and all 10 fingers. Feeling the breath in the chest and relaxing the space around the heart and the chest, the upper back, the middle back, the sides of the torso, the ribs and the waist, the belly and the lower back, and the hips and the seat muscles and the pelvis. Relaxing thighs, knees, behind the knees and the kneecaps, the calves and the shins, the ankles and feet, and all 10 toes. And just for a few moments, absolutely nothing to do except breathe. With the body breathing the breath, and the breath breathing the body. And remembering who you are. A beautiful manifestation of love in a physical form. And tonight, ending with one of our favorite quotes on self-judgment. My beloved child, break your heart no longer. Every time you judge yourself, you break your own heart. You stop feeding on the love, which is the wellspring of your vitality. The time has come, your time to live, to celebrate, and to see the goodness that you are. You, my child, are divine. You are pure. You are sublimely free. You are God in disguise and always perfectly safe. Do not fight the dark. Just turn on the light and breathe into that goodness of who you are. So breathing into that goodness of who you are, sending gratitude out to every cell in your body for the way it carried you through class. Beginning to wiggle fingers and toes, deepening the breath, maybe rocking the head side to side. If it feels good, a big stretch, like we're just waking up, and then rolling to one side, finding a side resting pose, fetal position, as we transition back. And noticing the effect of the practice tonight on the body, on the breath, on the thoughts and emotions. And if maybe something shifted from when we first sat down on the mat. And then whenever you're ready, pressing to any comfortable seat and joining the hands at the heart and bowing the head to the heart. Noticing if your heart has any messages for you tonight. And our body speaks to us all the time. We're usually too busy or moving too quickly to hear what it has to say. And from my heart, filled with gratitude for this beautiful Sangha that keeps coming together. So, so honored to be part of your journey. Thank you for sharing this time with me. Namaste.